So unless you have literally been living under a rock, you will know that this man here, Marcus Rashford, is very much a talking point at Manchester United right now. Literally everybody is talking about him, his off the pitch work, his on the pitch work, and more importantly, his future. Rashford himself is talking about it, Ruben Amorim is, literally everyone is, and I feel like we can't just ignore it, we can't pretend it's not happening, so I want to get involved in the discussion, but I want to do it my way. So today we are going to talk about Marcus Rashford at Manchester United with Ruben Amorim, and whether it actually works or not from a tactical point of view, just like we always do on this channel. Before we get into that, if you guys could subscribe to the channel, it would be greatly appreciated. We're growing really well at the moment. You could be the one to help as well, so if you could do that, it would be great. And then after that, let's look at Rashford under Ruben Amorim. So if we start off from a statistical point of view, Marcus Rashford has played 307 minutes under Ruben Amorim so far and scored 3 goals. That's not a bad record at all. That's a goal every 102 minutes. That's not a bad start for Marcus Rashford under Ruben Amorim. However, if we talk more about the eye test, actually watching him play football, he doesn't currently seem comfortable in the role, the job he is being asked to do. He doesn't look comfortable. He's not playing particularly well despite the goals. And I think one of the big problems he's got is that he is playing as an inside forward in this system. He's not playing as a winger or a striker. He's an inside forward. And this job currently is requiring him to do a job which I just don't really think suits his game. I don't think it suits what Marcus Rashford wants to do. And the big reason for that is because I feel like a lot of his work is being done with his back to goal. You see, Manchester United at the moment are trying to build really patiently at times from the back right. We are controlling the ball in these areas. We are really taking our time, being methodical, waiting for the moment to go forward. And when we are going forward, what we are looking to do is often move the ball into the feet of our inside forwards. So we might go wide initially and then inside, or just straight with that ball through the lines. But we're looking to get the ball into our inside forwards in these positions. And this is kind of issue number one, if you like, for Marcus Rashford. This doesn't suit him. This doesn't suit him. Marcus Rashford is not a retention-based player. A player who wants to drop in here, have his back to goal, hold up the ball, and link and bring someone else in. That's not Marcus Rashford at all. He doesn't want to play in these positions. It's not what he's very good at. It also removes a lot of his threat. We have always known that Rashford is great when he can go that way, in behind and attack teams. When he's coming into these areas, I just don't think it really suits him. The other thing which doesn't suit him is that when you play inside the pitch, when you play in narrow positions, the pitch is congested. And particularly because of the usage of wing backs, Rashford is starting in that position. It's different when you, for example, pick the ball up wide and perhaps you want to roll into that position. You pick the ball up here and then roll inside the pitch and take players on. That's one thing. But actually receiving the ball initially, already in this tight space, isn't something which suits Marcus Rashford, because again, he doesn't have the best first touch in the world you're ever going to see. He doesn't have the low centre of gravity which you perhaps associate with players in these positions, players that can sort of wiggle away from the opposition. But he also doesn't have the safe, assured short passing to bring others into the game and sort of combine his way out of these problems. And this is why it just doesn't really suit Marcus Rashford currently. And I think Victoria Pleasant was a decent example of this. Now, we should remember what we're going to see in these clips isn't bad. I just don't think it suits Rashford. And what I'm talking about is being in these positions here where he's dropping off towards his own goal so much. You can see in a situation like this, he just doesn't need to be there. Lisandro Martinez actually carries the ball and doesn't pass to him. Rashford doesn't need to be in that position. I think Rashford is a player which is suited to playing so much higher up the pitch, getting in behind the opposition, impacting the final third. That's where Rashford's work should be. We just don't need him here. He's just not needed. When he's dropping into these positions to pick the ball up here, what's he going to do from there? What's he going to do from there? Lisandro Martinez could have done this by himself. Rashford doesn't need to be in this area. Rashford doesn't need this amount of touches. He doesn't need to be this involved in our build-up play. But Ruben Amorim sort of wants it from our inside forwards, and I don't think it suits the way that Rashford wants to play. Again, in a position like this doesn't suit Marcus Rashford. He's not a player with the low centre of gravity to kind of spin into this position here and attack that space, which someone else might do. So he just gets himself a little bit stuck. So currently, the system doesn't suit him. Now, whilst the system currently doesn't suit him, that doesn't mean that it never can. In fact, I actually think Marcus Rashford has the profile to be an unbelievably good inside forward, just not in the way that we are using it currently. And this is why it's so important that when we talk about these positions, we talk about the role more than the position itself. Can Rashford play in this zone of the pitch? Absolutely. It's his best zone on the football pitch. He's unbelievable at times in those areas when he's on form, which doesn't happen enough. More on that later. But he can absolutely operate in those spaces. Of course he can. But not deep. Not with his back to goal. The role needs to change more than the position. I think we need to move himself just a little bit higher up the pitch. He doesn't need to be involved in those deep positions. We need to get Marcus Rashford, as often as possible, picking the ball up in the final third, facing the goal. That is where you get the best from Rashford. And we've seen it throughout his career. Of course, you can't always generate situations like this because some teams sit deep. But without doubt, Rashford's biggest strength has always been facing goal, running towards goal, getting into these positions, squaring defenders up. But again, he's facing the goal the whole time here. He's never back to goal looking to do retention work because it's not his game. He's looking to be aggressive. In a situation like this, attacking the box. This is where we should see Marcus Rashford. He doesn't need to be on the edge doing link-up work. Get him into these positions here where you can find him in the box. You can see the striker, Weghorst, actually on the edge. Marcus Rashford gets himself into a goal-scoring position. He's one of the better goal scorers at the football club. Get him into goal-scoring areas on a more regular basis. I think it's something United need to do, and I think this system can do it, particularly with the wing-backs bombing forward like they do. It sort of draws the attention of the opposition full-backs. You then have Højlund who can occupy the centre-backs. That channel of space is there for our inside forwards. I just think we need to bump Marcus Rashford a little bit higher up the pitch to really get the best out of him, and I think this next clip really sums it up the best. This is proper inside forward work. He picks it up on the left-hand side, starting wide, then arriving inside the pitch. But as he moves inside, Malacia makes that overlapping run, almost like a wing-back would, and it gets him into a really nice position in here. And then it's combination work. But again, the whole time, he is facing the goal. He is linking, he is combining, and getting into these positions. So what I really want to make clear with everything that was spoken about so far in this video is that Marcus Rashford can work under Ruben Amorim in the 3-4-3 system. The idea that he physically cannot work in this formation, for me, is wrong. I think the role currently doesn't work, and it would need to be tweaked to get him in, and that is where the bigger question lies, really. Not, can Marcus Rashford work in Ruben Amorim's 3-4-3? He absolutely can. Almost. Does he still want to? And that's maybe the bigger question. Because for Ruben Amorim to tweak his system to get Rashford into the team, that's quite a big thing to do, to change the way that you're playing. Rashford isn't a tight space combination player, so it would be a tweak from Ruben Amorim to get him higher up the pitch. We know that Rashford, for example, defensively isn't the most intense and doesn't work hard enough. And just genuinely speaking, over the past 18 months, his form has been nowhere near good enough. Nowhere near good enough. He hasn't been good enough to be Manchester United's, highest earner at the football club. So the big question here, it's not can Rashford do it, can Amorim do it. They're both brilliant in different ways when it comes to football, right? They can absolutely make it work. The question is, does Marcus Rashford want to make it work? And those comments yesterday, those quotes yesterday, gave the impression that he probably doesn't anymore. And that's a worrying sign, right? If you're Manchester United, you don't want a player that doesn't want to play for you. Above everything, you want work rate, you want intensity, you want people that are going to fight for you. And a player saying that he could maybe be open to a different challenge doesn't give you that vibe. It doesn't give you that impression. But what I really want to do with today's video is first of all, just not avoid the subject. We need to talk about it. But I want to make it clear that if Marcus Rashford is sold, it's not because there is absolutely no way to tactically make him fit into the team. It wouldn't be that reason. It would be because over the course of 8 years now, over the time, particularly the past few years, he has felt almost driven out of the club by certain parts of the fan base, perhaps, the media, whoever, I don't know. But I don't think this is it's not tactical. It's not purely tactical. Currently, it's not working for Rashford. You could make tweaks to get it to work. Ruben Amorim can do that. But I think realistically, this all runs just a little bit deeper, which is why I'm going to end the video there, because to be honest, it's not the right conversation almost for this channel. I didn't want to completely avoid it, so I've given some of my thoughts. I think a lot of it runs a lot deeper than tactics and analysis, so I will leave that for someone else to cover. So yeah, I think for today's video there, it's a little bit brief, but I think we're going to wrap it up there and leave the difficult conversations perhaps for some other people. Tactically, Rashford is not currently playing in his best role. Ruben Amorim has all the capabilities to get him into a better position, into a better role, but it's about whether both Amorim and Rashford actually want to make that happen and make it work. Do they? Not too sure. I'm not so sure that they do. Who knows? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Is it done for Marcus Rashford? Let me know what you think. Can Ruben Amorim bring him back, get the best out of him? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. But apart from that, we are finished for today. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you have enjoyed it. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.